Up next, I do hope Captain Ajith Peiris is ready to join us because he will be addressing the gathering. And today, Captain Ajith Peiris will speak to us on a topic of great importance, and that is seafarers training and education, the historical landmarks and shipping industry perspectives. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the President of CINEC Campus, Captain Ajith Peiris.
Good morning. Honorable Nimal Siripal de Silva, the Minister for Ports, Shipping and Aviation, Secretary, Ports, Shipping and Aviation, Mr. Ruan Chandra, and rest of the government officials, the Commander of the Navy, Excellencies representing foreign missions, distinguished invitees, my dear seafarers, and my dear students. It's my great pleasure to address you this morning at an event of very significant importance in this country, that is declaring and celebrating the National Seafarers Day. I would like to thank the Honorable Minister and the Secretary and the Ministry for giving this recognition to all the seafarers of Sri Lanka by declaring a national day, National Seafarers Day. My topic is historical landmarks of education and training seafaring in Sri Lanka. But before that, I would like to inform you in general the scenario with regard to seafarers and connected education and training for seafarers. Who is a seafarer? In short, seafarer is a person who works on a ship. And what sort of importance a seafarer plays in the world economy and in Sri Lanka's context. Have we given enough recognition to the seafarers, not only in Sri Lanka? Today, of course, I'm very happy some recognition is given, but in the world, have we given the due recognition for seafarers? The importance of seafarers to get the world economy ticking is not measured or not recognized by any other countries or the governments. The world economy is directly connected to the world trade. And the world trade means trading of goods between countries. And 80% of those goods trading between countries are carried by ships, and the ships are manned and safely navigated and safely delivered the goods, but by none other than seafarers. So you see the seafarers' direct connection to the world economy. Have any of those government personnel or countries, have they given that due recognition to seafarers? I think no. I think they have been playing a very silent role even during the COVID time, even during the economic crisis we had. We were waiting for the ships to come in. And who brought those ships? The seafarers. And who ran those ships during the COVID time to keep the people alive and keep going? Seafarers. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to emphasize the fact that seafarers play a major role in our lives and also in the world to keep the world economy ticking. There are approximately 1.6 million seafarers in the world. And how much we have? As DG said, actively only 16,000. We have a population of 22 million. And we are an island nation. We have the sea right round. But have you exploited, have you made use of that scenario? Unfortunately, no. The world population today stands at over 8 billion. And the decade that I was born in 1950s, it was only 2.5 billion. So see the growth. And with the population growth, the demand for producing goods to keep the people going have increased. With that increase, the world trade has increased. With the world trade increasing, number of ships required to transport those goods have increased. And the sizes of the ships, the speed of the ships, the types of the ships, they all have evolved and increased. So with that, the people who are manning those ships, maneuvering those ships safely to the destinations and discharging and loading cargo safely, their knowledge also have to be enhanced. At the very beginning, the ships were built, we had wooden ships. And it was all manpower. People were rowing, using oars to go from place to place. With the technology coming up, developing, then we came sails, using the wind to steer. Then came the mechanical propulsion. Initially, it was steam which really propelled the ship. Then it became fuel. Then it became gas. Now it has become electric. So with the awareness of the environment protection, I think the technology also evolved, and also the type of ships, the sizes of the ship, everything has increased. So in order to man those ships safely, we need all the seafarers to be properly educated. In order to have a safe waters, so safely navigate, because if each country, if they decide to have their own rules and regulation, we will have a problem out at sea in the international waters. So the International Maritime Organization intervened and introduced a minimum standard of training and education to all the seafarers plying in the international waters. This is for ensuring a safe passage of all the people who are sailing on ships. So with this background, I will now come into the Sri Lankan scenario. Like the speakers mentioned earlier, Sri Lanka also has a maritime history. Our history reveals that during the time of our kings ruling the country, we had ships transporting goods to neighboring countries. I think the minister mentioned we not only traded, but also he was mentioning that we invaded part of India. All this time I was aware that nations like British, Portugal, Spain, French, those are the people who invaded countries. For the first time, I heard, sir, that Sri Lankan also have invaded part of India. So that's the history we have. But since then, what has happened up to late 1960s? Basically, no maritime industry, or our maritime industry has not evolved or not improved. I think during the 1960s, there were lots of ships which came to the port of Colombo. Those are Greek ships and Maldivian ships. if somebody was interested in joining a ship, I think through their personal contacts, they were joining those ships. So that was how the seafaring happened in Sri Lanka prior to 1970. Then also there was a slot for 3 Sri Lankans to be trained on the Indian training ship called training ship Dufferin. Later on, it's called Rajendra, where I also had the privilege of being trained there on a scholarship by the Ceylon Shipping Corporation. So that was the only places available until the birth of Ceylon Shipping Corporation in 1970. So with the incorporation and birth of Ceylon Shipping Corporation, the seafaring became little more popular among the Sri Lankans. Earlier, I think very few people in the coastal area, or I should say people who are not Buddhist, who are on other religions, were inclined to join a ship. But we had a cultural barrier, thinking the people who join ships are not really disciplined, and they have their own fun when they go out to other places and things like that. So there was a cultural barrier for people to join ships. But since the birth of Ceylon Shipping Corporation, we have changed that, and we have proven that seafarers are much more cultured and disciplined than some of the people we see on TV, not being disciplined, who have been coming out of top-class universities in Sri Lanka. So that is the culture we had since the birth of Ceylon Shipping Corporation. A proper training programs were introduced. For the first time in the history of Sri Lanka, the seaman training was conducted in Trincomalee at the Naval Academy with the initiative of the Minister of Shipping and Ceylon Shipping Corporation. Then for the first time in the history of Sri Lanka, the officer and engineer training was conducted at the Moratuwa University through a National Diploma Technologies Technical Scheme, NDT scheme. Unfortunately, both training programs at that time was not in line with the international demand. So, but we had the comfort zone because we had ships owned by Ceylon Shipping Corporation. During the peak time, Ceylon Shipping Corporation had 17 ships. And I was, like mentioned in my presentation, I had the privilege of sailing with Ceylon Shipping Corporation right from cadet right up to the ship captain. So it was a nice company to sail, and it was a training ground for most of us at that time. But unfortunately, due to various reasons, Ceylon Shipping Corporation has only 2 ships, and I'm happy that when they built the 2 ships, they created 52 slots for training, which is marvelous. So then the private sector got involved in training, and the first time the private institute which got involved in seaman training was Mercantile Seamen's Training Institute, MSTI. Today it is known as MSTI Maritime Academy. And for the first time, a private institute got involved in the officer and engineering training was CINEC, which was in 1990. Since then, there were a lot of milestones which had taken place. It's all done by CINEC campus. First COC, Class 1, Maritime Degree Program approved by the UGC. First training of female cadets, again by CINEC. International simulator programs, also by CINEC. The latest IGF training program, also by CINEC. And the first shipping book in Sri Lanka for school children, also produced by CINEC, with author being the Dr. Lalit Edrisinghe. And also, we have taken the initiative to introduce commercial shipping and maritime science as a subject in the GC O-level curriculum, also by CINEC. So I think we have done, I am not bragging myself, not blowing my own trumpet, but the thing is, this is a reality, this is what we have done, and I would like everyone to know the role that we play. So with our initiative, I think we also embarked on a project which got the cabinet approval to bring 16,000 active seafarers to 50,000 seafarers by year 2030. I think for that, I think we need all the support of the excellencies who are here, and also the presidents of the maritime universities who are here from China and Korea to support us to get, like the minister said, all those berths for our training through their contacts to their Korean ship owners and Chinese ship owners to promote Sri Lankans on those ships. So that is the task we have, and I would like all the people in the maritime industry to rally around and do this as an industry to bring our economy to a place where we all can be very comfortable. Presently, we bring $500 million per annum purely by wages of seafarers. So we want to make it 1.5 billion in 4 to 5 years' time, which is a substantial amount, which will also, I think, help our economy. Like the minister said, yes, we can contribute and make it more, and then, of course, try to target maybe 5 to 6 billion in a few years' time. I think the atmosphere and the conditions are good for that, because all the developed countries, including China, Korea, Japan, all those people from those countries are not willing to get out to sea. So those are the doors are open for us, for the people like from Sri Lanka, to join those ships. So I think we have to take the maximum advantage with the support of the government and with a private-public partnership. So with those few words, I would like to thank the ministry for organizing this event and giving the due recognition for the seafarers. And also on a personal note, so thank you very much for recognizing me and giving me the trophy. I'm honored and I will humbly accept it. That will also make me more encouraged to do more to the seafaring community in Sri Lanka. With those few words, I would like to wind up my speech, wishing you all the very best and a good day. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Captain Ajith Peiris for speaking to us about the importance to support the growth and development of maritime education and training.